Hey everyone, it's Stranger Grayson here. Welcome back to another horror movie review. Today, I am starting another franchise, and it is for the upcoming release of the fifth film in the franchise, called Evil Dead Rise. And of course, as you can tell by the movie, the franchise that I will be covering this month is the Evil Dead franchise. Now, this horror movie franchise has sort of like a weird movie and plots because after the first movie, the plot and the sequels, they kind of like ignore each other. They like try to rewrite over each other. It gets very confusing, uh, especially like in Evil Dead 2, because that kind of just it's technically like a soft reboot. But anyway, the movie we'll be covering today is the first movie, and that is The Evil Dead, which was released in 1981. Now, the Blu-ray I have came in a two-set pack that came with Evil Dead 1 and Evil Dead 2. This will be the one we are looking at today. Now, Evil Dead, what is it about? The Evil Dead follows a group of 5 college students, and they're going away for the weekend down to Tennessee, from Michigan down to Tennessee. And they are on their way to a cabin in the woods that one of the teens have rented out for the weekend, which is called the Nobi Cabin. The 5 teens are Ash, Scotty, Linda, Shelly, and Cheryl. So they're all driving in the car, but while they're going there, this weird entity kind of like goes towards the car and it starts messing with the steering wheel, and it almost causes Scotty, who's driving the car, to crash into a truck. Fortunately, he's able to jerk it back, but he thinks that it's just like a mechanical issue with Ash's car. Of course, Ash denies it because he had gotten it checked out the previous day and the mechanic said it was all good. So, anyway, weird stuff happens while they're driving up there. Then when they finally get up there, everybody's getting like this weird feeling, especially when Scotty goes over there to open the door. Now, the cabin they're staying at is like very run down. It's just in the center of nowhere, like woods everywhere, all by itself. And they finally get in. They're able to, unpack, set all their stuff down, trying to get everything ready, chopping firewood. So they're all cutting up, having fun. They eat dinner, but then weird noises start coming from the cellar. Now, the cellar is like a little trapdoor thing with a chain. So they open it up. Scotty and Ash go down there to take a look. Now, Scotty's sort of like the douche of the group because, he's always making fun of people and picking on each other. And he scares Ash while they're down there. But anyway, they come across a book, a voice recorder, a video recorder, a book, and a shotgun with some shotgun shells. So they bring all that stuff up, and they start listening to the voice recorder. And the voice recorder, the person that's talking is actually Raymond Nobi, Professor Raymond Nobi. He is the owner of the cabin that these people are renting out from him. He is the owner. You hear from the voice recorder that he is actually like an archaeologist, and he's been exploring sites and stuff, and on his recent trip, he's brought back some Kandarian artifacts, such as the book, which he refers to as the Book of the Dead because it is bound in human flesh, and the pages are inked in human blood. Pretty disturbing. And then he also describes the Kandarian dagger that they also find in the basement. It's got like a skull and faces on it, on like the handle. It's a Kandarian dagger. Then he also describes that the Book of the Dead can release these Kandarian demon entities, and how he had done it before, but he was able to like trap them in like some sort of thing. But Cheryl turns it off. Scotty doesn't like that. He turns it back on. Unfortunately, they skip to the part where he starts reading out the verses to bring the Deadites awake. Of course, fog starts coming up from the ground, cracks in the floor begin to happen, and everybody just passes that off as like a weird coincidence that happened. Everybody's getting ready to go to bed, having a good time, but Cheryl starts hearing noises when she's by herself in her room. Goes out into the woods and discovers that the trees are alive. They're possessed by the Kandarian demons. They drag her, pull her into the woods, attack her, and then they do some stuff that I don't want to mention. Don't want to get age restricted. But anyway, she runs back to the cabin. She's freaking out. Ash is freaking out because that's his sister, and she demands that she goes back into the city. Ash takes her. They get right to the edge, but the bridge that they had traveled on has been destroyed. So he takes her back to the cabin, and, they're trying to discuss what happened. Unfortunately, while Scotty's out chopping firewood and they're playing around, Cheryl gets possessed by a Kandarian demon and all hell breaks loose. The Evil Dead was a movie that received a lot of, I believe, some negative feedback when it came out because of, the era it was from. But I believe it's actually grown a cult following and received a lot more positive reviews within the next coming years. Bruce Campbell does an amazing job as Ash Williams. You will get to see him through at least 3 out of the 4 of these movies, maybe 3 out of 5 with this 5th one coming out. But Bruce Campbell's really the only person that is stuck with the whole franchise. With everybody else leaving, he's really been the only one that's stuck with it. He does an amazing job here, as well as Rich, the guy who plays Scotty, and everybody that played, Cheryl, Shelley, and Linda. They did a fantastic job. I thought the writing was not terrible, but it definitely did have some issues, especially when I was seeing, throughout the movie, some of the stuff that was going on. The gore. If you are a gore hound and you enjoy blood and gore, you're going to see a ton of this in this movie. It is filled to the brim with just blood, guts everywhere. Very suspenseful moments in this film, I will tell you that. And there's some freaking terrifying crap that happens in this movie. It's unbelievable. With the low budget and all that, you can definitely tell that they really tried with this movie, especially with all the practical effects. They were all amazing. The Kandarian demons itself, the presence, I really did enjoy, the demonic, feeling, intense feeling you get every time you're near him, especially when you're alone with a character because you don't know if he's truly alone or if she's truly alone or if something's there with them. Just the atmosphere and everything, especially in the Nobi cabin, I thought was really, really interesting. Haven't really seen that in a horror movie. The kills, my gosh, are they amazing. There's a kill where somebody gets hacked to pieces with an axe. I thought that was really incredible, especially with the low budget that they had. The makeup effects for the Deadites, wow, that was unbelievable. They look freaking terrifying. Then, of course, the ending to this movie definitely tries to set up a sequel, but they weren't able to get that within 1987. 1987 is when the next movie comes out, and it's unfortunate that people had to wait that long, especially that cliffhanger. And you definitely can tell that the franchise tried to be a little bit comedic in its tone, but it does try to stick with the horror and suspense, which I really do enjoy. I enjoy when horror movies try to, throw some comedic horror in there. Pretty funny, but my gosh, this is an awesome movie. I definitely recommend you guys check this out. Just the characters, the atmosphere was amazing. Some characters, maybe just one are forgettable. Other than that, all the other characters are awesome. Shelley was really the only one I didn't kind of found boring, but other than that, it was really good. And the writing could have been better, but it's a low budget movie. Obviously writing's not going to be great because these actors are just trying to follow the script. It's not their fault, it's just the writing. But anyway, The Evil Dead was an amazing movie. I highly recommend you guys check this out. If I had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably give it about a 9, 9.5. This was a really, really interesting movie. I highly recommend it. Probably more so a 9 than a 9.5, but definitely a solid flick. Anyway, what is everyone's thoughts on The Evil Dead? Let me know down in the comment section down below. Would love to hear your thoughts on it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next review. God bless, and have a good weekend. Bye, everyone.